We begin the news at this hour in West Africa, where the Nigerian government is meeting organized labor unions to dialogue on the proposed strike action. The Minister of Labour and Employment, on behalf of the federal government, appealed to the NLC to be more open-minded and bear in mind the economic reality on Nigerians, whilst negotiating the interest of Nigerian workers. He said the meeting is a show of government's commitment to finding solution to the challenges occasioned by the removal of petrol subsidy. While reacting, the president of the NLC expressed disappointment that the federal government has failed to implement the agreement reached with the union. According to him, the NLC came to the dialogue with a mixed feeling, as previous meetings have not yielded any meaningful results. The meeting later entered into a closed-door session. We will bring you more details on in our subsequent bulletins. And of course, we are joined live right now with our correspondent on ground, Marvelous, to keep us up to speed with the happenings. Marvelous, thank you so much for joining in at this moment. If you can hear me, just give us an idea of what has actually transpired at the moment.
All right, just as at 2 o'clock this afternoon, the Nigerian Labour Congress president, the general secretary, and other executives of the union just came into the Ministry of Labour. Of course, you know that the meeting was scheduled to start by 11, but because of some challenges, the meeting started by 1, exactly at 1 p.m. So the NLC president had accused the federal government of being insincere and failing to, enter into some of the negotiations they have entered into. They have failed to implement some of those negotiations. And that is why the NLC president is saying that this meeting today, they are coming to this meeting with mixed feelings as previous dialogues have failed. If you could recall, 2 weeks ago, the Minister of Labour and Employment also invited the NLC for a dialogue, but NLC failed to honor that meeting. Later, it was the Trade Union Congress that came for that meeting. So today, some of us were doubtful whether the NLC will also attend today's meeting, but fortunately, they attended the meeting. So the NLC was telling the Minister of Labour and Employment that government is yet to implement some of the negotiations it entered with the union before, and of course that they are not comfortable if this particular meeting holding today will yield anything positive. But the Minister of Labour had also told the NLC that they should be pragmatic in their demands, bearing in mind the economic realities Nigeria is into, and they should try to be moderative in their demand. So to discuss further on these issues, I'm joined by a public affairs analyst, Adegboye, to discuss more on this.
All right.
So,
okay.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Just like you heard what I said earlier on, the NLC has accused the federal government of being insincere and failing to come to the table with clean hands. What can you say about this?
Yeah. If you have been following NLC and the federal government, NLC may be in their right if at all they come out with that talk, because all this while you discover that several meetings have been happening between the NLC and the federal government, but at the end of the day, it seems as if nothing positive is coming from the federal government side. Just of recent, I think there was a protest that was even carried by the NLC. They even went to the National Assembly, where the representatives of Nigerians are there. And in that protest, I was fully aware and what the government side, most especially those National Assembly people, they came out and promised the NLC that within 1 week they will meet to some of their problems, some of their demands that they have been demanding. And as I speak, I doubt it so much if such demands have been met. And you see, it's one of those reasons that you see at the end of the day, the NLC will come, they will sit with the government, they spend hours upon hours, but at the end of the day, the meeting seems to be a kind of a deadlock.
All right, now, Sariki, the Minister of Labour and Employment said that NLC should be a bit more pragmatic and flexible in their demand, bearing in mind the economic realities Nigeria is into. What can you say about that?
I don't really understand the kind of economic realities that the federal government is talking about. The reality is it because Nigeria don't have enough? We have what it takes for the federal government to look at all the issues that Nigerians are passing through. Is it the issue of minimum wage that the federal government cannot meet up? Is it the issue of fuel subsidy, removal of fuel subsidy that they even promised Nigerians that they are going to, provide palliative to most of the Nigerians that they cannot meet up? If you look at what Nigeria has, Nigeria is a blessed country that has so many resources, both human and whatsoever. In the state, I so much believe the resources that in your state, if the government can utilize it, I so much believe that we will have enough, not to even talk another state. But the question there is, those people that are in power, corruption and impunity has already eaten their dips, and the only thing of themselves and their children and nothing else. And that is the reason why most of Nigeria are passing through the suffering, the challenges that we are facing.
All right, lastly, before I let you go, of course, the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress has said that this will not be the first dialogue they are having with government, that they have come to this meeting with a mixed feeling, whether this meeting will prove anything positive or not. So do you think this meeting will prove anything positive, or will it be business as usual?
Well, based on what the minister himself has said, I so much believe, and even the way the NRC have said, I think the two sides, both the NRC and the government, if at all the minister who is just came on board, maybe they may consider him, if at all, the promise that he's going to make, if at all, at the end of the day. But as it is, just like the way I have said, so many meetings have been, held in several times, but nothing seems to be done. But let's hope at this time around, with what NRC have already came out with all their challenges, maybe government may at this time will try to do one thing or the other.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so just like you heard from Mr. Atiku, he just hoped that this meeting will, end positively, and many Nigerians will also be hoping that the fuse between the federal government and the Nigerian Labour Congress can come to an end, so that the Nigerian workers, of course, that the minimum wage is 30,000 naira, and what we are having on ground currently with 30,000 naira, so many Nigerian workers are saying that this amount of money cannot get them anywhere, and NLC is begging on the federal government to do something about the minimum wage. So currently, the meeting is being held behind closed door. At the end of the closed door section, we'll go back to know what the recommendations are. So I'll be bringing you updates on the recommendations reached between the federal government and the Nigerian Labour Congress.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Marvelous Obomanu, and of course, we will keep in touch.